This is YG and YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Today, my team and I are collaborating to help Lorry Rifkin of Lunch with Lorry. Let's do this. Welcome to YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Ariel Kopak with Harness Your Hindrance. I help business owners and sales professionals take control of the hindrances of their business by identifying their mental and emotional roadblocks.
Hi, I'm Lori Hybe, president and owner of Keystone Click. We're a strategic digital marketing agency helping our clients build brand awareness, generate leads, and nurture those opportunities online.
Hi, I'm Mervyn Bird. I am a Vistage chair. I run a CEO peer advisory group here in the greater Milwaukee area.
And today we're helping Lorry Rifkin of Lunch with Lorry. Let's meet him. Hi, Lorry. Welcome to YG Workshop.
How you doing? And thank you for having me here today.
You're very welcome. So, Lorry, you have a very interesting business origin story. Let's hear more about how Lunch with Lorry came about.
Well, it goes back to starting as an introvert. I was afraid of meeting people and networking. And I happen to have 3 women mentors in a executive agenda group I was in who said, if you want to go places, you have to go out in the world. So I started a networking journey very slowly. I remember going to an event at a Brewers game. There was 40 people in a box, and I waited 40 minutes before I would go in and talk to anybody. And I left with like 30 business cards, and ever since that day, I have not looked back. And it's been a journey. I started learning how to network. I meet people. I was persistent, wouldn't give up, and slowly but surely I started building a network that started helping me in different things, introduced me to people, got referrals for work, but it was difficult. Being a core introvert makes it exceedingly difficult to live in a networking world, because I would come home from a networking event, have to turn off the lights in a room, sit in my reclining chair, have no sound, and recharge. And that's where I learned the difference between an introvert and an extrovert is how they recharge after going out with a group of people. So I one day go to a golf outing from MMAC. Pat Miller happens to be in my cart. We have this discussion. I sort of rearranged his business, and he was very mad, but afterward he said, thank you, and he gave me the hashtag Lunch with Lorry. His only words were, make sure you use it, and I have not looked back. I started taking people out to lunch, and it was about to give. I would tell the story of the people I meet, and it's always about their story, and I don't ask for anything. Then COVID came. Pat goes, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're not in the online world. So I started doing podcasts. I started doing webinars. And I decided to write a course for a Lunch with Lorry course of how to network. And I'm writing that right now because there really are no courses to learn how to network. I learned through trial and error, and I'm 63. It took me forever to learn what I learned. And I want to give back and teach others, especially introverts, unemployed, and recent college grads, how to network. And so here I am in front of TV now, trying another thing, because I'm always pushing the boundaries of myself, because I want to grow. I have a 7-year plan, and I want to get there, and this is part of my plan.
Well, fantastic, Lorry. First of all, thank you for sharing, and thank you for pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. I know that's tough for all of us to do, so that's fantastic to see that. But I know you didn't come here to swap stories. You have a perplexing question you have for our panel. So what is the big question that you have for our group that we can help you with?
It's the monetization strategy. Lunch with Lorry right now is free. I want to try to charge for it next year, but the real thing is selling my networking course, doing it right, knowing where to market it, how much to charge, where to go with it. I know it has value because I've test marketed it. It's how much value does it have and how do you build that? Because I've not met many people in Milwaukee who have successfully built an online course to teach something. I see people here and there when I ask them how much your sales are, they'll go 5, 10,000. Well, I want a 6-figure sales amount, so how do I get there?
Okay, that's a great question, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But before we do that, we've got a panel of experts here, and I know you guys, I'm sure, have tons of questions about Lorry's business model before we dive into that question. So who has a question first for Lorry?
I've got a question actually. So you've asked how to charge for this. Have you put any thought into that, or have you dove into other models to see what is working with other online courses right now?
I have, and there's like 3 schools of thought, very cheap, 10 to 15 bucks. There's a mid-tier, say from 99 to 199, and there's other people say charge thousands and just don't have that many sales. And so that's one of my dilemmas. Which model will work? And maybe it's not one model, maybe each of the subgroups I'm going after is a different model, and I just tweak the course. That's one of the things I'm trying to figure out.
Lorry, could you dive a little bit deeper? Tell us a little bit more about what you mean when you say how you charge for lunch with Lorry. Is that different from the course, or is that the lunch? Like you and I did a lunch with Lorry a year or so ago. How does that?
Well, there's 2 types of lunch with Lorry. There's the one where I just a one-on-one lunch with Lorry where I tell someone's story. That I'll always keep free. But I'm having lunch with Lorry events. I had one live event planned, a Cinco de Mayo event where I was charging $39. COVID killed that, and I sold that out. My online lunch with Lorry's are free right now. I believe there should be a charge. It costs a lot of money and time and effort to pull them off. I'm just trying to determine a charge that doesn't make it too much money people won't want to go, but enough that they have skin in the game.
This course that you referred to, is it a standalone course, or does it involve some kind of mentoring, coaching, guidance by Lorry when you purchase the course or when you partake in the course?
I'm planning to have tiers. So I want to have, if you want customized help in networking, I would do that. I was thinking of having subgroups. I was thinking of having a newsletter, maybe at a premier status, you get a newsletter with it. So I'm planning to have tiers, but what's already coming about is there's side courses on there. For example, how to use LinkedIn to network. So there's probably going to be a family of small courses around a core where there'll be modules to swap in and out for different purposes. That's what it's looking like right now. And I'm not doing it on my own. I hired someone to do it, John Taylor, so I'm not doing this on my own because this is something that I need the outside influence and guidance to pull off.
We're just getting started. Let's take a quick break and come back for more with Lorry Rifkin of Lunch with Lorry. This episode of YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank on YG TV, is sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems.
Welcome to First Federal Bank of Wisconsin. Here at the bank, we pride ourselves on providing the community bank difference. To us, it's more than a tagline, it's how we serve our customers and support our communities. When you work with us, you can expect quick local decision making, a great customer experience, and a significant community commitment. As experts in the products and services we provide, we are here to help you achieve your financial goals. Proudly serving the Milwaukee metropolitan area since 1922, we look forward to serving you and showing you what the community bank difference is all about.
Circle Electric is a 35-year commercial, industrial, and healthcare electrical contractor with engineers and designers on staff, backed by the most technical and well-trained master and journeyman electricians. Whether it's an equipment move, new building, or commercial remodel, from pre-construction all the way through startup, primary power, branch power, or low voltage systems, they are here to support you. Our 24/7 on-call service department is here to meet your electrical needs for our industrial and healthcare customers. You always hear safety first. They are safety always. Circle Electric will maintain electrical reliability for business continuity.
For more than 80% of families, today's medical billing practices are confusing. At HPS, our goal is to improve the healthcare experience for the patient by making medical bill payments less stressful. In Wisconsin, that's all made possible by our comprehensive independent healthcare provider network. We simplify billing and lower costs for everyone involved in healthcare and offer various ways for individuals to pay without breaking the bank.
Good perspective. Other questions for Lorry?
I'm curious why you aren't charging for the lunch with Lori that you're doing right now.
I didn't even think it had any value until I got into it. I'm getting now where I think there's 120 people going through it. Now it's a decision point. Next year I want to charge for it. It's been a great test market for me. And like the internet model, we give away something free, then you have a premium. I had to get the bugs out of it. I had to get it down, see what really works, see what people's comments were. I've been mining the comments and I'm also mining the data. It's astonishing the trends I see in the data. How much we have in common, but we don't know about because we never dig down and get to learn about the person you're with.
What's your cadence on your current online lunch with Lori, and how many people are you seeing attend each one? You mentioned 120. I don't know if that was.
I'm trying to limit it to be between 20 and 25 per meeting, because everyone has to participate. That's one of the differences in this model. There's participation every step of the way. You have to answer questions to register. You have to connect with every other person in the meeting. And I call on every single person and ask them to explain their most interesting answer. That takes a lot of time, so I can't have bigger than that, because I wouldn't be able to get to everyone to ask them their personal question. That's pretty amazing.
So what's your cadence? How often?
Cadence. Once a month right now.
You mentioned that your market is unemployed, college graduates. When you're thinking about the monetization and the price points, how do you see the connection between the market that you're targeting and your price points, given that your market is unemployed and college grads who likely don't have a lot of money to invest?
Well, the market for the course and who pays doesn't have to be the same. College grad's a great example. Here's my marketing pitch. It's to parents. You just spent $100,000 in your kid's education. Why not spend the last $299, for example, and it makes a difference in their life? So it's two markets. It's the students to come, and I've been testing it. I have a son going to UWM, and Lori knows him because he was in Lori's class. His friends are interested. They come over. They're interested in this concept because they're really not taught networking. But they're not going to pay for it again. This will be their parents that would shoot to pay for it.
That makes sense. Other questions you guys have?
Is the event separate from the online course, or do they go hand in hand?
They are separate, but I want to link them together. What I would suggest before someone would buy the course, I would tell them, go to a Lunch with Lori event and see why my version of networking is different. Because this is not my primary source of income, so I want people to enjoy it. It's a fun thing. I would want someone who gets benefit out of the course, not just sell it and hope they don't care if they don't use it. I want people to use it. I'm on a mission to show that introverts could be fantastic networkers, or unemployed can if they're just given a chance to learn how to do it right.
So Lori, could you, Lori, could you just kind of tell me right now what kind of marketing you're doing towards your networking right now? How are you kind of getting yourself out there on it, and just how are you letting people know about it?
My current Lunch with Lori's is all organic, one by one. I see people who post on something I do. If they're a second connection, I send them an invite, and then I send them an invite to come for a Lunch with Lori. I also marketed to associations I'm in. I'm in MBBI, TMA, which was interesting. The first 6 events, when I would mention them, I would hear nothing from the organizations. The last post about Lunch with Lori, both groups liked it. So now that they're seeing, that's the reason why I didn't want to charge. People had to see the value. Now I'm getting the organizations themselves promoting it. And so I decided to do this slow organic growth, but really look at people getting a lot of benefit out of there. And when I look at all the comments, the benefits are amazing, because you think about it, we always tell what we do for a living. We very rarely tell what drives us and what makes us tick. And people want to tell their story. They really do.
Yeah, everyone likes to talk about themselves, right? At the end of the day.
What's the mix right now that you're seeing? Who's showing up to the online Lunch with Lori's? Is it the college grads, the recent college grads, the unemployed, or the introvert? What does it look like right now? What does that data look like?
It's very interesting. I call it the equal opportunity of networking. I've had CEOs with unemployed in the same meeting. I have right now 10 to 15% from out of Milwaukee. It's a mix, and I do that on purpose. I do not want all unemployed people. I do not want all business people. It's a very broad mix, and I really want to keep it that way. That's what makes it dynamic, because the stories have a diverse background then, and the stories while people come, they get to hear great stories. And if it was too geared towards one market or one type of person, I don't think I'd get the diversity of the stories.
I can appreciate the diversity. I think the challenge is with so many benefits, what is the benefit that you are selling? I hear the process and the stories and the networking expertise, but what is the benefit that you would be selling with Lunch with Lorry
People
course?
are getting 19 to 25 other connections, and I'm finding out now people are getting business out of that, people are getting jobs out of that. It's getting connections you wouldn't otherwise have, because most of us network in our core networks. I have a concept called contra networking, where you specifically go out of your core. This is forcing people out of their core network, and they're getting a wide variety of people they're meeting. And it's helping them. They're getting even things, we always look at networking as getting business. This is getting friends, finding hobbies to do with people, and getting business, and getting jobs, and showing that you're a social media influencer. People have a good story to tell, they're connecting to people. So the value I'm hearing from people is they got a ton of new connections with people they would have never otherwise met.
Good stuff, Lorry. So let's move on now to the question at hand that you had. So you have this concept, you have a passion for what you're doing, and you enjoy connecting people, you enjoy networking, but you need to monetize this. And I think what you're talking about as well is scaling this and scaling your business, because in order to kind of hit those goals that you want to have, you really got to be able to pull yourself away from it and be able to replicate this in a different way. So with that framework in mind, anyone want to start with some advice for Lorry on how to help monetize his business?
I'll go. So I like the idea of having the prerequisite that you have to attend the event. And a thought I had while hearing a little bit of your story with regards to not getting paid for that right now is, why don't you offer it like a donation and say, if you enjoyed this experience, send me some, here's my Venmo or my PayPal or something, just so you can start to get a gauge of what people are willing to pay. Buy me a cup of coffee as a thank you for my time or something along those lines. But then you close it with a pitch to the class or the workshop. And I think aligning with the associations and offering a discount code or something because they're part of the association, because then that association is going to advocate for you and you're advocating for them by giving them a discount deal.
Great advice.
Ariel, you look like you got something.
I certainly do. I think getting clarity on whether the main benefit is the exclusivity of the network. Is Lunch with Lorry an exclusive group? Is there a key connection that someone can have as being connected to Lunch with Lorry that they cannot have if they're not connected? Is the exclusivity of the network key, or is the training key? And you don't have to choose one or the other as far as an offering, but what is the selling point, and then who is most going to benefit from that selling point? Because I think the market that is going to be most attracted to the training may be different from the market that is most attracted to the exclusivity of the Lunch with Lorry network. So clarifying who your target market is, what their pain point is, alongside the biggest benefit for them. What are they going to put their money towards, or what are the parents going to put the money towards, I think is something to really get clear on for your marketing message.
I agree. Right now, I don't have the course finished to market it, but what I am doing, I'm using Lunch with Lorry. One of the goals is to have a funnel for the course out of Lunch with Lorry, and the goals aren't exactly the same. Lunch with Lorry is just to show networking could be fun, but if you then want to learn how to do networking for business purposes, the course will pick up where the Lunch with Lorry left off.
Good clarity, thank you.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of layers here, a lot of different opportunities for you. So you have this Lunch with Lorry. Right now, there are people doing online events and programs and that sort of thing, and they're charging for them. Do a little bit of research there and figure out what that is for you. Is it $10 a head? Is it 15, 20? What's the market there? And then begin to fold in all of these other things. I get a sense you're such a process guy that you can get lost in the process. And there's so much here that fold in one thing at a time. So you have this Lunch with Lorry. People are getting used to paying to come to this online thing. Now you've written the course. Now you can start marketing that course. Fold that in, and then all the LinkedIn network, all these other different layers that you have, one at a time, so that people can get used to the idea that this brand is here and it's beneficial for them?
I agree with that, and that's one reason 10 years ago I would have tried to do this myself. That's why I hired someone. The purpose of hiring that person isn't to do the technical stuff I could do. That person holds me on a leash, and that's what I hired someone to do. You're exactly right.
Tying on to what Mervyn said, when you look at your business model and you're trying to scale it, right now the business relies kind of solely on you, right? So it's you kind of putting on the events, and we're in a situation now where you can't necessarily do a lot of in-person events effectively, right? So I think it's wise that you are working on the course. The course can be scalable, where you can do a lot of things with it. So like once you've created this course, you can video it. Now you can do a podcast on it. You can write a blog on it. So there's a lot of ways that you can create the content for it. But now you've got to figure out, okay, how do you put the paywall behind it, and what do you charge for? What do you offer for free? And that's, I think, something that you've got to put a plan together basically, and figure out, okay, how am I going to put all this together and launch it and then scale it and then add the dollars behind it.
Well, even there, I violated my rule of always doing things myself. I am hiring a marketing company. It's not going to be from Milwaukee. It's going to be black box and knows nothing about me, and I'm going to have them help me do that because I realize this could be very big. I cannot do this myself, so I am. For the first time in my life, I have a virtual assistant. I'm hiring a marketing company. I hired a production company. I'm going to use experts in the field to help me take this thing as far as it will go.
Any other advice for Lorry in this business?
When I hear you describe what your offering is and what you have to provide, I hear a little bit of Lorry's in the middle, and there's the training, there's the network, there's the story, there's the expertise. And I think with creating a plan, what is that, putting those into steps, and what are you always closing to the next step someone on? So one leads to the other, which leads to the next, which leads to the next. So there is an opportunity to sell all of the incredible value that I have to provide, but putting it in a clear, you get this far, and then you buy into the next, and you buy into the next, and they are continually buying into Lunch with Lorry every step of the way.
And that's a good point. And once the hardest part is to get a customer. And then once you have them, it's always easier to kind of keep them and then upsell them. So I think that's pretty sharp advice, to be able to take the people you have, your raving fans, and then that's how you're going to expand by, offering them more and keeping them excited and giving them something next to look forward to.
They're my sales force.
Yes, they are.
100%. And reward them for bringing in the next opportunities too, and those
That's a good
referrals
point, too.
and whatnot.
Final thoughts for Lorry?
I'm a big fan of the stepping stone approach for sales, and I think that's something that you should definitely consider. In addition, as far as the monetization, I would really take a close look at the gym membership model, where it's a low cost, an annual monthly fee, subscription model, but you have to continue to add value and produce more content so that people stay part of that model.
That's a good point.
Lorry, I guess one other thought that just came to mind. How much time, and this is a question and suggestion, this is what we call in our business an embedded suggestion. So how much time are you spending really just mapping all of this out and getting real good clarity around that? How much time are you spending on that?
20 to 30 hours a week.
20 to 30 hours just thinking about that. That's great. Now, you're getting some of this today. Get someone else to kick the tires on what it looks like. What you've come up with. These are your ideas and your assumptions. Someone needs to kick the tires on those a little bit.
Writing the course is interesting because I'm getting the view from someone who's been involved in that, and it has changed a lot of stuff. One other point of the course, it's not what the model I'm in now, where I only get paid for my time. The course is something that I don't have to actually run the course. I just have to develop it. I don't have to put the time in for work an hour, get an hour pay. So for me, even if it's modestly successful, I have changed my model, work an hour, get paid for an hour by having something, and I don't have to do it. Other people could run the course. It's the content is my content, but I don't have to be, if we had a live instructor, I don't have to be the one doing it.
Yeah, and that's where you can pull yourself out of the day-to-day of the business, and that's where you can start to build it and scale it. So obviously you got to get your course done, get comfortable with that, and really get that perfected, and then you can start to package it and sell it off to other people, but they have to also see the benefit of it too, the people that are putting it on, and how do they win out of that too. So how do they take something that you're monetizing, how do they then,
You have to share the reward.
Yep, you got to share it. Yep, absolutely. Well, we've thrown a lot of stuff at you, Lori, a lot of different advice. So far out of what we've told you, what is sticking with you? What are you going to take away from the panel and the advice that we gave you?
The number one thing I'm going to take away is a stepping stone to go back and just put the course content development on hold for a couple of days and rethink the steps of success.
Okay, good. Well, once again, I want to say thank you, Lori, for sharing your story. You've got an awesome story and you got that passion behind what you're doing, and we wish you the best of luck. So thank you so much for coming on YG Workshop today.
Thank you for having me. This was very helpful, and it's great advice from a great group of people.
Thanks to Lorry Rifkin of Lunch with Lori on YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop is a collaborative environment designed to help businesses see their blind spots, consider new perspectives, and grow toward their goals. Do you know an entrepreneur that would like to come on the show? Have them visit younggunsmovement.com and apply. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode of YG TV. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Thanks to our panel, Mervyn Bird, Ariel Kopak, and Lori Hybe, and our entrepreneur, Lorry Rifkin. See you next time.